Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of C4TV. In case you missed the intro video, this is the show where I, Cynical Pete, walk you, the viewer, through the most confusing, mind-boggling, and occasionally contradictory histories of various fictional characters from across all forms of media. Today we're taking a look at a DC character that I've always thought has never gotten the love she deserves, especially in recent years. That's right, we're talking about the younger sister of Wonder Woman, Donna Troy. Donna is one of the most well-rounded characters in DC's library. Though she was created to be Donna's sidekick, we'll get to that, she never really felt like one. She's always been surprisingly mature, intelligent, and has held together several iterations of the Titans and Teen Titans when other members couldn't handle the stress. She has, of course, had moments of weakness and times when she fell apart, but those were more than understandable considering the stuff she had to put up with goes far beyond what most people have to endure, even other superheroes. But the worst thing she's had to endure has been the really confusing decisions that keep rebooting her origin, hence this episode. Some of that has been beyond the control of whoever was writing for her at the time. Other times it's been more examples of how some comic writers think they have to make their characters constantly miserable in order to keep readers interested. On that note, let me quickly say that I'm here to walk you through her publication history, not her character history. Trying to concisely sum up the latter would take up way more time than I think either of us are willing to invest. I will be mentioning the most important moments from across her many lives, but I'll mainly be sticking to the behind-the-scenes details that led to those moments. In any case, I'm here to walk you guys through these head-scratching decisions and summarize as best I can the history of Donna Troy. Let's begin. Donna first appeared in 1960 in The Brave and the Bold, number 60, the first appearance of the Teen Titans. But Wonder Girl appeared 2 years earlier in the pages of the main Wonder Woman book. How was this possible, I hear you ask? Well, there was a bit of a mix-up. The original Wonder Girl is actually Diana herself. You see, this all started in that wacky era of comics known as the Silver Age. It was a simpler time when the Batman comics were basically a sitcom. There were like a dozen different versions of Kryptonite, and, relevant to today, Wonder Woman could use a Deus Ex Machina called the Purple Ray to do basically anything, including going on adventures with past versions of herself. Thus, the first incarnation of Wonder Girl was just a teenage version of Diana. But in 1960, editor George Cashton and writer Bob Haney were asked by DC Editorial to include a girl in the Teen Titans to appeal more to girl readers. So they chose Wonder Girl, not knowing that she wasn't a sidekick. So for years, readers wondered who she was. She literally didn't have a name for the first 9 years of her history. No, I'm not kidding. Haney and every writer after him for almost a full decade of stories just ignored the problem entirely until 1968. Donna's older counterpart wasn't having a very good time in the late 60s. Sales for Wonder Woman were dropping, so the writing team decided the best thing to do was to take her powers away and zap the Amazons into another dimension and turn Diana into a spy instead of an active member of the Justice League. That is going to need its own episode someday. But for now, the writing team back on Teen Titans had to finally address the elephant in the room in a story aptly titled, Who is Wonder Girl? So in Teen Titans number 22, the great Marv Wolfman was tasked with finally giving Wonder Girl her proper name and origin. Her first origin was really simple. She was a young girl rescued from a burning building by Wonder Woman. Her family had died in the fire, so Diana brought Donna to Paradise Island where Queen Hippolyta adopted her. It may seem a bit anticlimactic for keeping the readers waiting for over 9 years, but I guess Wolfman figured the simplest approach was the best. And I can't disagree. The story wasn't anything special, but it didn't really need to be. It explained everything perfectly. Until 18 years later. You see, after a big event called Crisis on Infinite Earths, a bunch of heroes, including Wonder Woman, had their origins rebooted. In her new origin, Wonder Woman didn't leave Paradise Island until relatively recently, but the Teen Titans largely had their origins left alone, so now Donna had become Wonder Girl years before Wonder Woman ever showed up. The problem was partially solved in the pages of the new Teen Titans, once again written by Wolfman. Her origin was mostly the same, except instead of being saved by Wonder Woman and raised by the Amazons, she was saved by the Greek Titans and raised by them on an alien planet. Just go with it, it's comic books. She still operated as Wonder Girl when she first arrived on Earth, but this detail was initially ignored by DC, and Wolfman gave her a new codename in Teen Titans anyway, Troia, after the city-state of Troy. Here's where things start to get more complicated. Crisis on Infinite Earths did more than reboot a few origins, and combined the histories of several universes in the DC multiverse. Important for this video is that the histories of the main world, Earth 1, home to the Justice League, and Earth 2, home of the Just Society, were melded together. Why was this a problem? Well, like the Titans, the JSA had most of their histories intact, including the fact that Wonder Woman was a member for a time. Yes, even though I just said Wonder Woman had only appeared recently. Man, the more I look into this, the more I think Diana is the problem. And this problem persisted for 12 years. Again, I'm not kidding. Finally, in 1998, John Byrne, who was writing both the Justice League and Wonder Woman books at the time, came up with a pretty creative way to address the issue. In Wonder Woman number 131, it was established that a sorceress named Dark Angel was using her powers to take advantage of errors in the time stream caused by the crisis in order to make the world forget who Donna is. Wonder Woman and the modern Flash, Wally West, still remember her and visit Queen Hippolyta in order to get some answers, and to their relief, she remembers Donna as well. She then gives us the new origin for Donna as a clone of Diana created by the outcast Amazon Magala, who had traded her immortal beauty for immense knowledge of magic. Donna had been created as a playmate for Diana, who was the only child among the Amazons at the time. She was then abducted by Dark Angel, who was revealed to be a version of Donna from another universe, who had survived being erased at the end of Crisis on Infinite Earths by... How the hell did she survive that? Anyway, Dark Angel, who was an enemy of her Earth's Hippolyta, kidnapped Donna, thinking she was Diana as a way to torture the Amazon Queen. Dark Angel brainwashed her, and then would drop her off at different locations to lead a brief, tragic life before Dark Angel would grab her and start the process all over again. During one of these lives, she was trapped in a burning building like her pre-crisis self, only this time she was rescued by the Greek Titans, who gave her superpowers and trained her as a warrior before sending her back to Earth. Back to Dark Angel. Diana, Hippolyta, and Wally tracked her to the 1940s where she had disguised herself as a human. So Hippolyta traveled back in time to World War II, where she joined the JSA as that team's Wonder Woman. This allowed her to not only lure Dark Angel out of hiding, but also fill in the temporal contradiction, red plot hole, of the JSA remembering Wonder Woman, which further explained where Donna got the inspiration for the name Wonder Girl. Yeah, I know, that was all a bit much to take in. Believe me, it took me about 6 rewrites to hammer those last few paragraphs into something coherent, and I had to leave out a lot in order to keep this video at a manageable length. But by the end of things, Donna's history was as cohesive as it could be, and this story would stick for the next 13 years. While her past had been sorted out, her future still had some rough patches. She lost her powers temporarily, signed up with the Dark Stars. I'll have to explain them in the Green Lantern video I'm planning, so just file that one away. Her husband divorced her for stupid reasons, and he and their kids died in a car wreck. And finally, she was killed in an awful crossover event called Teen Titans Young Justice Graduation Day. She would get resurrected by the Greek Titans a few years later and rejoin the Titans, that is, the grown-up Titans back on Earth. And following the events of another crossover called Infinite Crisis, she'd fill in as Wonder Woman for Diana, who was taking some time off to establish a civilian life for herself. Things would go pretty well from that point on until the New 52. Possibly the worst, second worst, third? Okay, it's not the worst decision DC's ever made, but it was pretty bad. Once again, DC did a major overhaul to most of their characters' histories, meaning Wonder Woman got a new origin that necessitated Donna getting one as well. In the New 52, Donna was still a mystically created clone of Diana, but this time she was made by the sorceress Darano. Unlike her predecessor, Darano's loss of her eternal youth wasn't voluntary. It was drained away while she was defending her then-lover Hippolyta from an assassin. Darano secluded herself after that, and when she had heard that Hippolyta had an affair with Zeus, Diana's new origin in the reboot, she became mad with jealousy and created Donna to replace Diana as Hippolyta's heir. She would cause a civil war that was only ended when Diana revealed the truth of Donna's origins to the Amazons, who then locked her in a prison within Mount Olympus. Needless to say, this did not go over well with a lot of Donna's fans. Unfortunately, that would be the story until 2016. That was the year that DC launched the DC Rebirth Initiative, wherein they would integrate some parts of the old DCU with some of the more popular parts of the New 52. For the first year of this initiative, Wonder Woman's new origin would be explained across two alternating stories written by Greg Rucka, Wonder Woman Year 1 and Wonder Woman The Lies, with the lies being told in the odd-numbered issues and Year 1 in the evens. The lies serve to explain the New 52 origin for Diana as an illusion placed in her mind by the Olympian gods. Even though she was appointed an ambassador to the rest of the world, Diana was forbidden from returning home after she left, and especially from bringing anyone else there. Don't know how she's supposed to be a diplomat if she can't introduce anyone to her people, but whatever. So the gods gave her false memories to prevent her from leading anyone to the Amazons willingly or otherwise. Donna's part in this was mostly unchanged. She was still a creation of Darano's, but the part about her leading a civil war was removed. In the Rebirth continuity, Darano was executed before that took place. Donna felt as though she wasn't a real person and had no purpose without Darano, so the Amazons gave her false memories similar to her original origin in order to make her feel more at home. You know, I just now realized how often that happens to both of these women. I wonder if having your memories altered by supernatural forces can be genetic. Regardless, things would mostly go well for Donna from there. She recovered her true memories in a subpar crossover between the Titans and the Justice League and has had a pretty good run so far. And that's about it for the major beats as far as the comics go. She's had a few other appearances, but only a few. Her biggest is in the HBO Max Titan series, which isn't great, but at least Donna's character is mostly spot on. She has briefly shown up in Greg Weisman's Young Justice animated series. She only had a few appearances there, but at least she got to kick butt both verbally and physically. She was in Lauren Faust's Super Best Friends Forever shorts, but when the show got picked up as a full series and retitled DC Superhero Girls, she was replaced with Diana, though they were both voiced by Greta Lyle. So it seems we won't get to see Donna get her dues in anything besides Titans for a while, and I don't understand why. Yes, she's had a lot of weird retcons. I'm sure at least half of you haven't retained the confusing details I've thrown at you in this episode, but that's because of retcons that have happened to Wonder Woman and issues with the comics industry itself. TV shows and movies have a big advantage over comic books in that they can be planned out much further in advance. Ideally, you don't have entirely new writers and editors coming in after every story arc or have to worry about franchise-wide reboots every few years. Okay, a lot of franchises these days do have that problem, but you know what I mean. The point is, a TV show or movie that had a well-planned story for Wonder Woman could easily fit Diana somewhere in there if they just took a minute to think it through. Still, Donna has endured through the years, remaining a fan favorite despite being frequently overlooked by the higher-ups at DC. And I'm sure she will continue to endure no matter what weird time shenanigans DC pulls out of its ass in a desperate bid to drive up sales. And maybe, just maybe, they'll finally give her the spotlight she deserves in a series that isn't disappointingly mediocre, so that the rest of the world can see her the way I do. Well, that's the episode, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more, hit all those buttons down there that YouTube likes creators to tell people to hit. Leave a comment if you have an idea for a future episode. Please recommend this channel to your friends, and I'll see you all next time.